Now let's get into this. So now that the Olympics have wrapped up for the men's team in Canada, what do you do? And I want to say
over.
Men's hockey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wrapped up this morning.
They still got to play the gold medal game.
No, the men's team.
For
Canadian
Team
men's
Canada.
Team. I mean Team Canada.
Okay.
Did I not say Team Canada?
It made it sound like you were saying men's hockey's over.
Well,
I was paying
if
attention.
Canada and the United States aren't in, fuck them, right? It's only a 2-horse race anyway.
Yeah.
What I meant was Team Canada. My apologies. The reason I bring that up is I want to talk about Josh Hosang. What now? Because now the situation is Nye. It's Matthew Nyes.
Wait,
what do you do?
Who is also out?
What do you do with Josh Hosang now? Because he can come back, sign a deal with anybody. He's already said, I'm going to check with Toronto first. Is that your deadline acquisition on forward? Because you do want some depth on forward, but do you then waive Nick Ritchie? Nobody claims him, and then you can send him down. What do you do there?
That, I think, is part of the reason why a Nick Ritchie move is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly the impression I got from last Hockey Night in Canada, or 2 Hockey Night in Canada's ago. Elliot Friedman made it sound like it was pretty imminent.
Mm-hmm.
It's so that the Leafs can bring on cheap forward depth, right? I don't think this is going to help with their, what ends up being their deadline acquisition on D. I think we're talking way simpler here. We're talking about signing Josh Hosang to an NHL contract. We're talking about maybe Nick Abruzzese from the American program comes over, something like that. But they got to clean up their house a little bit first.
So what's interesting about the Nick Ritchie situation is that because he's under the age of 27, his buyout is only a third. So when you buy him out, all it costs you against your cap next year is $300,000.
That might be the way.
And it might be the way, because here's the thing. Even if, and I don't know if anybody, I would love Dom Lucian to do this. Assign to me a monetary value for each draft pick. How much is it worth?
People have done this.
Have they done this?
Yeah.
What's the draft pick that's worth $300,000 against your cap?
So I'm trying to. I know the Leafs have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars
for fourth rounders.
For fourth rounders.
Robin
I'm trying
Lehner,
to remember the exact deal. Yeah, that was ridiculous. They paid. Yeah, it was a lot of money in that weird Chicago 3-way deal for Robin Lehner. I think they came out of it with a fifth or something like that.
It's weird.
So, which means MLSE gave Kyle Dubas a green light to make a trade where he spent, I don't know, let's stick a fork in $400,000 for a draft pick that's got a 20% chance
20%
of making the NHL. Maybe
that's high for a fifth rounder.
Yeah,
20%,
and
maybe 2
significantly lower percent chance of playing 200 plus games in the NHL. You know what I mean? So $300,000 is actually. I'm warming up to the idea of a buyout. I generally don't like it, but
I feel bad for Nick Ritchie because he can produce at the NHL level. He had 15, 16 goals last year, right?
He'll have an NHL contract within a week of the buyout.
For sure. So my question is, if I'm Kyle Dubas and I'm doing, you could save $900,000 on his contract by sending him down, right? If I'm Kyle Dubas and I'm doing this deal, the only reason I'm doing this deal is because I want the flexibility now.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me for even a fourth, do you want the player or do you not want the player? If you don't want the player, then we'll keep the player. Right?
Yeah.
And how much money is that $2.5 million really going to get him? Could be significant enough, I guess. But if you look at what's out there, and Jonas Siegel put together a potential list of trade deadline targets, and a lot of people are saying, listen, don't expect much. He mentioned guys like, Scott Mayfield or Artem Zub or, Mark Pysyk is one that, he's a good penalty killer with the Sabres. Leaf advanced stats people have wanted him for a long, long time.
I'll take Mark Pysyk.
Maybe Colin Miller. I don't think Ben Sherratt's the guy.
No.
Justin Braun was an interesting one. I really like this one. He's 35, headed for free agency, and he's boring. And he played with Mark-Edward Vlasic, so he knows how to play,
I need boring.
Boring is good. He's the best one. But if you look at
Vlasic's mean. Really underratedly mean.
But Klingberg, Manson, Shen, DeMello, all these names are here. Adam Larson potentially, maybe, but it's just the what you would have to give up to get these guys. I don't know that the Leafs have it.
It's sort of harkens back to the Zach Hyman conversation between the Leafs and Oilers. Remember, the Oilers offered they wanted to acquire Zach Hyman via trade so they could get the 8th year, which would bring his cap hit down from 5.5 to 5.1, $400,000 a year. Ken Holland thought that was worth a 6th round pick. Kyle Dubas thought that was worth a 2nd round pick. I think Dubas is closer to right, to be honest.
And he got nothing.
So would he be willing to give up nothing then?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like it's a question of, do the Leafs have a good chance of winning the Stanley Cup? From what I've seen, like based on I saw a graph this morning. I think it was from Money Puck, and they had the Leafs at about 8%, and they had Tampa at about 12%. It's a big 4 percentage gap, by the way.
Yeah.
8 and 12 sound like they're close. They're not close. 12, I think Florida was at 11%. You know what I mean? Like it's tough. It's gonna be tough slugging for the Leafs.
Amazing. Oh, what a nightmare.
So the question is, do you have to go for it? And I think you do. Like this team, you have to reward this team. They've been a spectacular team. But it's a matter of how do you reward them? Because next year the team will be largely the same.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You don't make a bad deal just to make a deal. Like if the deal's not out there, you hope that Dubas can hold back and not make the deal. And like looking at the players you listed off there, Adam, I'm like, nothing really entices me.
Like Klingberg's going to go. Severson is the second coming of Jake Gardiner. You don't want to bring him into this market, I don't think. And that's, by the way, second coming of Jake Gardiner to me is a compliment. I liked Jake Gardiner, but I know how this market reacts to Jake Gardiner's.
I've seen, a lot of Leaf fans turn on the idea of getting Severson. I think getting any improvement on Justin Hall is great. But if we're going to be picky about it, you want someone who's better on the defensive end of the puck.
Adam Larson, he's got 3 more seasons at $4 million.
I think Seattle's going to end up being a trade partner for the Leafs. The more I think about it.
What now? Why? In what regard?
We know Dubas and Ron Francis are friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle has too
many. Could it
be
the Sioux connection?
It's the Sioux connection. You bet, baby. They have too many defenders.
They do.
And the Leafs could potentially... Seattle would have done a thorough evaluation of everybody. They would know the Leafs prospect pool.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder who they would want.
Dylan DeMello is a name I also find interesting. But again, 2 more seasons after this one at $3 million. For a guy that's not... What's that?
I think I'd take him.
Would you take him?
I'd take Dylan DeMello. Big fan.
I'm a big fan too, but he's never been a guy that's played a lot of top 4 minutes.
If the Leafs can find a deal that gets money out as well.
I mean, I think you're probably talking about Hall and Ritchie.
Yeah.
Because Hall's contract's not small compared to what Hall makes or what Hall provides right now, right?
Yeah.
It was a good little signing when it happened. But this season at $2 million, it's kind of like, ugh.
On one hand, Alex Kerfoot was really good in the playoffs for the Leafs last year.
Yeah.
6 points in 7 games. He filled in at center when they really needed it, when Tavares was out. But he's played left wing almost exclusively this year. And he played left wing a lot last year. The Leafs identified left wing as such a weakness last year that they were willing to give up a 1st and 2/4 to fix that problem.
With Nick Foligno.
And it was Nick Foligno and Alex Galchenyuk who, they completely rebuilt the left side of the ice. Michael Bunting is not getting knocked off that top line spot because he shouldn't. Mm-hmm. The Leafs clearly don't think Ilya Mikheyev is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
They've already benched Kerfoot, who granted did score against Seattle. To me, if we're talking about a money out move, I think he's the guy.
But I don't like not having the insurance just in case one of your centers goes down.
I agree.
So would you not rather take away from another area?
What other area is that?
And
that's the problem.
What's Kerfoot get you? Are we talking Josh Manson? Because Josh Manson, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm listening. Because he brings he can move a puck. He's mean. He's big. He's 30. He's 30.
But if it gets into a situation where the Leafs are giving up Kerfoot plus a first and a sixth, then I'm like, why are we selling so much to get a defenseman who's going to play with Muzzin?
No, I don't think that's how it goes. I don't think that's how it ends up going.
It seems like we're always like, hey, the Leafs will go get this guy, and then they pay a lot for whatever player it is. It's been 2 deadlines in a row.
I think everyone should be prepared to be thoroughly underwhelmed, which is why I said Seattle.
That's what I'm very excited for. Just something that doesn't cost a lot.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
That's why I picked Seattle, because they don't have defenders who are really going to jump off the page at you, but they still might improve the Leafs defense, which is all they need.
What did you think of Muzzin and Liljegren being maybe your deadline move? And then if Muzzin and Liljegren work out, because that's what they played on Monday, so then do you have to get a top 6?
No, you get a Braun or a Pissick, I think, at that point. And they like it was Jonas Siegel said, it was probably a low round pick that I get you Justin Braun. If you can, even if he plays like if you drop, I don't even know what the Leafs have honestly in picks. Not much.
They have for this year. They have their first and second,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if they're allowed to spend their 7th.
They're
because
not.
It's
conditional.
Traded it for Brendan Manel. It'll end up being nothing. The Leafs will get to keep that pick,
but it's still you can't trade it. But they've got all their picks for next year except for their 7th rounder next year. So you'd have to look at it like a 4th or a 5th next year. That's fine.
Is Liljegren an answer in top 4?
He's an answer.
It's just it's a lot to throw at him going into the playoffs, isn't it?
He's another.
He got like 40 games.
I think he's a good defender. He's a good
like
defender
him a lot.
who's getting better. I'm not convinced about him in front of the net. I literally just want a body mover. I want a body mover. All right, well, here's Ben Sherratt. Okay, no, I said a good body mover. I need you to. I need you.
Also, Ben Sherratt costs a lot of money.
Eric Engels is saying
much.
that'll be a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
That's insane for Ben Sherratt. And listen to this. Okay,
You can spend whatever you want if you win,
That's
but
true.
I'm not sure.
don't put that kind of pressure on the Leafs over Ben Sherratt, is what I'm saying. But look at this. Sherratt is used to the rough stuff. This is from Jonas Siegel's article in The Athletic. The kind of brutally tough competition the Leafs would need from him. He was Shea Weber's tag team partner during Montreal's shocking run to the Stanley Cup final last season.
Good.
How does he fare in those minutes?
How does he?
Well, the Habs were outscored 16-7 opposite elite competition when Sherratt was on the ice against them last season in the regular season. 48% possession. And this year, that number is even worse. So I don't think Sherratt's the guy.
No.
He's also he was injured. And they say he's gonna be fine, but like he got an injury.
Well, no.
How good is your injury heal?
Put him with Jake Muzzin, who's also injured, and you get +1 chemistry or something in video
I'm
games.
worried about any team that goes after Sherratt.
When you put a firebolt the lightning bolt next to the hammer, and that's the green chemistry.
How hard is it to get a right-handed defender who's good at hockey? For God's sake.
It's very hard.